Hey guys, good morning and happy Friday, TGIF. One of the things my coach used to tell me that, you know, you shouldn't say TGIF. And so I apologize for that. Every day is the best day of your life. Even Mondays, it's the day of opportunity. I'm always saying that on Daily Nugget. So I don't want to say something that is counter to my principles. But today I'm going to talk a little bit about the best cash flow market in the country in honor of my podcast coming out with Phil Alexander about Cleveland. So, if you guys follow me, you know that I'm always talking about Cleveland, Ohio. Um, I own in 25 states, and I have moved to where the best markets are at the time. They don't last forever. And I can tell you that this market, and I'm going to tell you why, is right now the best market in the United States. Well, if you want to buy rental properties, cash flow rental properties. So let's just talk about what it's not. It's not a place where I'm buying properties, fixing them up, and selling them as flips. And there's really not a lot of places. I think I did a buyer's market. The high end is not a it's a buyer's market. So it's not a very good time to flip unless you're going to flip rental properties, which I'm not in the business of doing. So I'm in the business of buying them. So what I like about it is it's cheap. You can buy 3, 4 bedroom houses that rent for 13, 14, $1,500 for between 100 and $130,000. And if you're really lucky, maybe $90,000. That's just super cheap. And not only is that cheap, these will appraise for more than you bought them for. So you can do the BRRRR method. And I'm sure I've done a daily nugget or I have some content on the BRRRR method. I've done a podcast on the BRRRR method. And the BRRRR method is how you get your money to go infinite, how you get to recycle your money. Um, and as I've said uh, in other daily nuggets, I only buy if I can make 40% on my investment. So Cleveland is a place where I can, buy a property, fix it up, refinance it, have 10 or 15,000, $20,000 in the deal, and I will make 40%. Let's say it's $20,000, I'll make $8,000 a year net, net, net. If your rent's 1,400, you have management fees, property taxes, insurance, maintenance, vacancy, you're going to cash flow like crazy in these markets. So what's key? It's cheap. Second, high cash flow. Third, you can go in with equity. This is like the perfect formula. It works every time in every market. And the only counter to that is that people say, well, hey, these things don't appreciate. They absolutely appreciate. As a matter of fact, in the last year, every zip code that and I'm not saying I'm a miracle zip code finder, every zip code, the worst zip code in the city of Cleveland went up 7%, the best 16%. And we're talking the city proper. You can't get that in other markets like, all these high end markets. They're not doing that. They're going down. I talked about how it's a buyer's market. Those prices are going down. Investors invest based on these numbers. And I know that there's only 3 to 5 years left in this market because if I'm talking about it and really, I'm not buying a ton of houses. So I'm here to provide to the community. So I don't care if I'm going to put a link here to Phil. Phil sells property in Cleveland. I don't sell property in Cleveland. I'm going to give you his email, his direct email here, Phil Alexander. I'm going to put a link to the podcast so you can see what we're talking about. I'll give you my email. You can ask me any questions. I can't sell you a house, but I can tell you what I'm buying and why I'm buying. So in any event, I know that as investors, prices go up in other markets, investors are going to figure out Cleveland. And you kind of want to get 3 to 5 years out of a market. That's how I started in one market, go to the second market, and I followed around. Now, what is not a cash flow market? Well, I don't want to say that. There are cash flow markets where, you can buy cheap. I mean, you could buy cheap and you can cash flow, but they don't appraise for more. And the BRRRR method doesn't work. So I'll give you an example. I own a bunch of houses in Jackson, Mississippi, right? I bought them, I don't know, 7, 8 years ago. You can buy houses there for $50,000, $60,000. They rent for 900, $1,000. But guess what? They appraise for $50,000, $60,000. So you're buying them really at retail, and the cash flow is good. But this is not like a super appreciating market. Cleveland also has people moving into it. They're revitalizing the city. And for some of the northern cities, I mean, everybody knows everybody wants to move to Georgia and Florida and this, that, and the other thing, and North Carolina, but nobody's talking about Ohio. Ohio's great. Got great universities, great businesses. It's resurging. So don't go to like these cheap markets that don't have equity when you walk in. I need to have equity when I walk in. And don't go to these markets just because of the cash flow. I'm a cash flow guy, but I want cash flow and equity. I guess I want everything because I need this BRRRR method to work for me. So what I'm going to do today is I'm going to put a link. I'll put Phil's email address. If you want to buy a house, you can talk to him. He'll talk to you for free and explain what he's doing. You can shoot me an email, ask me any kind of questions that you may have. I'll put a link to the podcast that I'm referring to. And I might put a couple other relevant links, but I really want to talk a little bit about Cleveland. I really love Cleveland. I've been there twice in the last, I don't know, 3 months. And every time I go, I like it more and more. And for me to leave the Caribbean to go to Cleveland, there's got to be money there. So hope you guys have a spectacular Friday and have the best day of your life. Thanks, guys.